Hello, everybody. We are live from Level Up Academy. Hopefully, you can hear me. Joel was having a hard time hearing me, so hopefully, you all can hear me. So, let's go and start. Are you guys ready? I hope you are. I'm ready whenever you guys are going. So, let's go ahead and start today with this for a minute. Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to show you now a video of part of our little summit here. Um, and hopefully you guys are able to hear everything today. And here it comes.
So I'm Dr. Brian Segre. I'm a performance coach, a retired surgeon, an athlete.
Now, before we end this, can you let the people in here watching this video on what they would be getting from you for purchasing this video from you?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is
that how to identify what isn't right when you're going somewhere. And we talk about our specific program as far as how it's all itemized, as far as how you would do basically an assessment as you're going to places. So it gives you all the details of our program in a nutshell.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Gene.
Thank you so much.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Global Summit, the Level Up Academy. Today we have an award-winning brother, for sure, another Mister. Welcome, Willie J. Willie, introduce yourselves to our people who's buying your video today.
Oh, awesome. I'm definitely the founder of Pure Mission Entertainment, internationally world-renowned company that believes in creating hope through arts and entertainment. And our overall mission is empowering people, changing lives. And I started this company up, me and my buddy, Aaron Emick, who I hired as my president. And we had this vision and mission to use our creative arts and ability to entertain to bring more awareness in a social type of way. And we've been blessed. I don't want to go through the accolades. And we won number one fastest growing company in New York Weekly 2021, featured with Grant Cardone and Yahoo Top Entrepreneur, which also led to features in GQ magazine. The time when Will Smith was on Oscars, and he's on that front cover as well. And we are in the entrepreneur section of Forbes edition, New York edition with Michael Dell over Dell Computers. Yeah, and we've just been on a mission, man. Puerto Rico was one of our first projects to kind of brand our vision, so to speak, and mission, and to stick with that theme of creating hope through arts and entertainment, and basically slanging hope instead of slanging dope. I come from some things in East St. Louis, Illinois. We represent there, and just showing people how to continue to dream big in a winning environment is just the hope factor. Hope is priceless, and hope is your universal thing. We all need that, right? At times. So that's what Pure Mission is about. And just finished an amazing feature that's getting ready to drop. A book, Rattle the Wake 1. Number one, we went number one with my sister here. And it was pretty awesome. Rattle the Wake number one. It was number one international bestseller. It was great to collaborate with a lot of amazing authors, spearheaded by Lonnie. Shouts out to her and Steve Kidd. And we just been on a mission. And today,
it's so amazing. Okay, so last week you were on my where were you on my live stream, right? I mean, so crazy. Yeah. And you're like, hey, everybody, I'm on 169,000. I need to be a 170. And I love that you asked. You see, that's part of attraction. Action, what you just said, right? Traction and then attraction. And that really did work, because what you did is you asked for help, said help. But you know what? Look at you. Look at
you, bro. 174,000 followers. 9,000. Now we gained about 5,000 more. Yeah.
So I'm going to show you this. This is just 5 days ago. And it's crazy that this process will definitely help you, because it's proven. And I'll show you what the difference is in 5 days. Let me see if I can do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, look at me and you. Okay, we look kind of cray, but that's not the point. Look at your followers there 5 days ago, 169,000. And what you did is you took action by asking, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you gain traction by me saying, hey, people, let's take a village to grow this. And boom, days, we're above and beyond our goal, right?
That's right. 174K all day.
And maybe we get a freebie of jazz music from our brother over here.
No doubt. We're definitely going to hook you up. Yeah,
definitely.
For sure. With special bonuses. Yeah.
Ooh, let me tell you, we're gonna have entertainment. How about this?
The third one you're giving is Never Stop Winning Workshop. Free access. I'm excited. Talk to me.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Shouts out to my bro. I call him my bro from another mo, my New York brother, right? And we met by way of the John Maxwell, C. Maxwell team. And I became a leader a little bit over a year ago. He had been trying to get me to Orlando for a long time, but due to hectic schedules, deaths, unfortunate circumstances, and adaptability is what life is about. So I ran into this gentleman. And he believed in our vision. He believed in the mission. He's been following us for a while. Put out a record called Sunshine with the Rain, and that's how we met. And he even passed it on to John C. Maxwell, and great review. And he decided we talk, we mastermind each week, and we decided he was like, oh man, we should put a workshop over this Never Stop Winning because this material is great and it can help leaders all over. And mind you, he's been an advisor for John, one of his greatest sellers to close sales for 10 years, and now he's a part of PNB. And now he's going to facilitate this workshop where you're going to get the goodies that I talked about previously in the consultation, but you're going to get the steak of it, the meat and potatoes of, the whole soup plate broken down, in detail and sequence, and the how to and when not to, and how to leverage it. And, you're going to get all of those goodies, and maybe about 7 chapters, if you will, maybe 7. And then we have a 3-workshop we're going to do condensed in 3 days. There's going to be some seminars in 3 days, and then there's going to be certain workshops in person. And then we have this program for 9 weeks where it's like a boot camp, basically. And you're going to be guaranteed to not come out the same way that you came in. The way you entered, you will outro in a different way. You will never be the same. After, this workshop experience, going to be some great days. And like I said, I'm running it with Richard Mover. He's putting together, a great team on the East Coast for us and the West Coast and Texas. And man. And we're gonna dive in really deep. Things I can't cram into interviews. I've done a lot of podcast interviews over my time, especially these last 5 years. But in this workshop, you're gonna see a side of Willie J and P and me, along with our brother, Richard Mover, courtesy of the John Maxwell team. You'll never be the same leader, after you leave this,
I'm so excited.
And you'll get free access to it. A replay. Everybody won't get the replay because, you definitely have to pay for some of this high-tech information that people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for. And you'll get this information if you've attended this summit right here. This will be that grand giveaway for everybody that's here and that wants to, grow and show how, teach you how to never stop winning. It's cool to win one time, right? It's great. But how about how about we continue to compound the winning effect, right?
Front seat, replay, front seat. I just took your number, 12, no, 11. Sister from another mister right here.
So that's the gist of that, and they'll get the even if they can't attend, and be one of the 12 in that certain mastermind workshop. Only a select few and people from here will get that. Of course, the PME team, internal people, my staff and people they'll have access, but outsiders, they won't have that. So they'll be exclusive, and get to play it as much as you want. It'll be put in the format of WAV file or whatever floats your boat. You get access to that. Goodies in the box.
I'm pulling an ABBA right now. Let me tell you. Oh, karaoke style. Why not? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so thankful that you're here. And
Thanks,
you're right. You're literally doing an epitome of, music already transcends culture, right? It doesn't matter what gender, what color, what culture you come from. Music way that gets into your soul and just makes you beat that heart a little bit faster, right? That's just how music does it.
Absolutely. Yes.
You're already in that. Yeah, you're already in that industry. And now you're like, I'm going to do business and I'm going to level you up to the next level and have your standards higher than ever imaginable.
Yes.
Who's
And,
that?
and
You pray, right? Are you praying? No, you gotta level up. I love it.
level up. Gotta level up. Every day is an opportunity to each moment, and we want to teach people how to take advantage of their now moments. You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
stuff like spell the word now. Like for example, like you have everybody used to say, hey, take the word now and spell it back. What do you have? And then you're left with the beautiful word one.
Yep.
You already won. The more you do now, you win later. You win now and you win because you took action.
I love it. And like I said before, when you give with no expectations, you don't get let down, and you give without expectations. And I love that. And that's the reason why you're in the summit, because you're a heart-centered leader. I only want heart-centered leaders. And thank you so much for this opportunity, for this time. I know you're a busy person, and taking up your time already, but I appreciate you.
I was just gonna just keep dancing. Hopefully you guys had a little glimpse of what is happening. Literally, Willie J's team, okay, are spending so much and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on this workshop that is kind of exclusive just for the elite team that's willing to pay and are able to pay. But because of this summit, I'm asking him to share those hundreds of thousands of dollars for 50 bucks. Okay, so watch for those speakers that are giving away so much to help me level up the world. And this is why I have a hard time with, if you guys applied, I'm not saying you're not a heart-centered individual. Please don't take it like that. All I'm saying is that the people who were there first, like they really are showing. And I watch your profile on LinkedIn constantly because I have projects constantly coming. I might have a TV network soon. So hopefully some of the people I will be picking and choosing are heart-centered. We're going to continue the heart-centered leadership movement, and definitely want to provide value to our team. So we will be on TV soon. We will be on Roku. We'll be on Prime. We will be everywhere. Apple TV. That is my dream, and it's coming true soon. So I'm hoping, I'm looking for people that's going to be partnering up with me on those shows that we can make more impact and legacy for the world. Okay. So that's coming up. So DM me if you want to be on that program. But today I took up so much time already about this global summit. I really want to elevate one of our community members, Joel. Are you guys ready to get to know him? And if you are watching Team Replay on YouTube, thank you for your continued support. We are moving strong. Our aim is going to be 10,000 subscribers within 6 months. And I think we're going to be halfway to the mark of that 10,000. So we might be having 10,000 subscribers in YouTube, less than that. Now, we were at 73. We are 77 nations and things. So yes, let's go ahead and bring in our guests today. Are you guys ready? I know you can probably hear a lot of breathing because there's my bulldog, and I'm having a lot of tech issues today. I am not actually in my studio. I am in my office. So let's go ahead and bring Joel. Welcome. How are you?
Hey, CJ, good to be here. It was good to listen to the previous video, because when we say level up, we're not talking about individuals or even companies. We're talking about the whole system. We've got some problems with our economic system, as everybody has noticed, and it's operating at a fraction of its potential. So we'll talk about that in this episode.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself to our people here. Team Replay is going to be in here. I know LinkedIn has issues, so I always tell them go to YouTube. I can see your YouTube information in there as well. But I want to know a little bit more about you. And of course, we had a chance to talk before this, actually.
But let's think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
Sure. Well, my life journey started out with a family that owned a Jewish mortuary. So that was right at the intersection of business, community service, religion or spirituality, and emotional healing. But it was a bit of a dysfunctional family. And so I learned workaholism as a coping tool. So I was a Jewish activist workaholic, a political activist workaholic, a type A workaholic. And then at 27, I had a workaholic near nervous breakdown. And luckily, a friend pushed a book on transcendental meditation into my hands. So from 27 on, it's been a journey of growth, healing, but also innovation. So how I would describe myself, you have highlighted the term economic futurist, but I would say inventor, paradigm shifter, social entrepreneur, and economic futurist. So for the last 20 years, I've been just working to bring a very outside the box innovation into the mainstream. And we can be more specific about what that means.
So tell us a little bit about how you got here today. Like what this is your life's work, right? And what kind of impact are you making within our community that's like super proud and super passionate to move forward with?
So I actually invented something that got patents, but that was in the 90s before the technology was actually possible to deliver the invention. So the patents are expired, which is fine because, like the internet, our intention is for this innovation to live in the commons. In other words, nobody owns it, and it's run by what's called protocol. In other words, the internet has a set of rules, and if you don't follow the technological rules, you can't get on. But once you get on, you can do e-commerce, you can do charity, you can do, whatever you want. You can be for or against guns. So we've got this innovation that now the technology is mature to deliver to the world. And the most important aspect of it, it takes money economics and commerce from being money centered and competitive to being people and planet centered. In other words, cooperative and sustainable. So coming out of COVID, I couldn't get people to talk about anything but cryptocurrency, COVID, George Floyd, and DEI, a little bit of global warming. And now we're getting new momentum, a lot of exciting discussions on what technology will get this built and what it can do to raise people up. Just one tiny example, food's an abundant renewable resource. We have a global economic infrastructure that can deliver any product anywhere in the world. So for there to be hungry people across the planet when food is an abundant renewable resource, it's a money problem. It's not an infrastructure problem. It's not an available products problem. If people don't have the money, they're going to starve, but that's insane. That's inhuman. So we're working to solve that very contradiction between our potential and the current reality.
Wow, that's actually when we had that conversation, it's kind of eye illuminating. As of today, some brothers that I have across are not eating and they're having a hard time. So it's heart wrenching to me that we have all of this abundance, but yet half of the population of the world are still hungry. What can we do to help that? What are some of the things and ideas that you have to help that?
Right. So it's much bigger than a challenge in front of individual organizations, individual corporations. We have 6 gigantic economic sectors. The private couldn't get the problem solved. We added the public sector, couldn't get it done. We added the nonprofit sector. We've always had the cooperative sector. And more recently, based on high tech, we've got the sharing economy and social impact investing. If people could see that everything that produces wealth is only advancing technology, infrastructure, human skill, knowledge, and creativity, our ability to use free and abundant renewable resources, they'll immediately see the gap between our potential and how we're doing things. So what has to be done has been done throughout history. New technology makes new forms of money possible. So there used to be just barter, then smelting made gold coins possible, then printing made paper currency possible, then computers and the internet made digital currency and e-commerce possible. We're saying this latest innovation is even beyond anything we've ever seen. It's a ledger. And you see, ledgers don't crash. Ledgers don't have inflation and recession. You can't hoard ledger entries. You can't speculate in ledger entries. So it's a little different than cryptocurrency, which is a new token on a new ledger. This is totally a ledger. And I got the idea reading the book Walden 2 by B.F. Skinner, which is a utopian novel, but this isn't a utopian idea. This is very practical based on today's technology and global economic infrastructure. So what people can do is get out to my LinkedIn, link in with me and ask for me to send out the materials, because we're rebranding this and we're building a new website. So just go out to Joel Hodroff, JoelHodroff, and ask for information on our new economic model. Thanks for posting the link.
Yeah, definitely. I usually will post it towards the end. So yeah, definitely. I think what we're doing is that, what I love about highlighting individuals is that you guys have your own superpower and you have your own passion. But no one, it doesn't matter how amazing it is, right? We talked about it, but if no one actually hears about it, we can't solve any problems, right? So I'm glad that you have that.
Stay in the domain of theory, but luckily, in the modern era, not only can technology speed innovation into the world, think of the sharing economy. We took the tiniest bit of excess capacity, an empty room in someone's home or an idle car and driver, scaled it in a couple of years to millions of new jobs and billions of dollars of new wealth. Now, filtered through win-lose competition over money, unfortunately, hotels, motels, and their employees took the hit from Airbnb. Cab drivers, limo drivers, and their companies took the hit from Uber and Lyft. So we're saying, how do you get past win-lose competition over money and let all these advances in technology and human skill, knowledge, and creativity raise everybody up? And we say you do it with a next generation financial innovation, which we call a ledger currency and ledger economics.
Maybe you should write an article on that and we can share it on LinkedIn for sure. I would love to share
it's already on our site. It's a chapter in a international online publication on the new economics of ledgers and ledger economics. So
okay.
we've done quite a bit of that kind of development. We just submitted a next article on financial literacy, a next chapter, because today banks have a global infrastructure for interacting with the poor, but what they offer is financial literacy. Unfortunately, that's teaching someone how to balance a checkbook or apply for a loan. It doesn't put new purchasing power in people's hands. So our new chapter is all about beyond traditional financial literacy to sustainable prosperity through distributing new purchasing power. And interestingly, again, we're drowning in wealth that money won't distribute, which is like a form of insanity. Grocery aisles full of groceries are empty of customers, or more often than they're full. College desks empty more often than they're full. Restaurant tables, stadiums, movie theaters, everything gets overbuilt so that the competition creates massive excess capacity side by side with massive unmet need. Your puppy can chime in. That was pretty good.
No, I love it. I love that you're having this conversation, and this is your platform. I'm providing that platform so we can definitely have more conversation. But as a paradigm shifter, you likely analyze a wide range of factors influencing the economy. So, what are some of the key drivers you believe will have the most significant impact on the global economy in the next decade?
Well, I want to say that it's these ever advancing factors of production. Technology only gets better, yet the economy goes up and down and crashes. Global economic infrastructure only gets better. Human skill, knowledge, and creativity only gets better. So I'm going to say that the fact that we can't really tell the difference between money and wealth, and we chase money and we leave wealth on the table. So my biggest point is we have many ways of monetizing businesses' excess capacity, but it's all competitive and money centered. We put things on sale, we barter them, we create loyalty rewards, we have donations, in-kind donations to communities. None of that is moving massive wealth from where it's lying around as excess capacity to where it's needed. So this phrase, monetize excess capacity, isn't in mainstream economics because the way we do it isn't working. We do it competitively, and it just leaves, winners and losers constantly. So, and one of the problems then, and I say we face either 2024 electoral civil war, or we could come together beyond left versus right and rise together. So again, nothing I'm saying because it's in the next paradigm comes quickly and easily, but people can drill down on it with our materials. It's as if we were living under kings and queens and everybody's debating the rights of the king, the wardrobe of the queen, the customs of the court, but nobody's talking about democracy because that's, a tiny number of people. The Continental Congress had that as a discussion, but then they didn't try to go out and teach democracy. It was a few simple slogans: down with the king, no taxation without representation, liberty, fraternity, equality, a little bit of don't tread on me. So that's called minimum viable product in early adopters. That's the heart of adopting new innovation, is keep it simple, keep it small. Like I said before, a first empty room in someone's home or a first idle car and driver led to the entire sharing economy exploding into the world. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to offer introductory minimum viable products to probably youth and techie early adopters. That's who's scaling things these days, young people and techies.
So true. I actually am teaching a social media class, and we look at a lot of stats, right? Because people are think, oh, social media, I post. That is not social media, but it is in a social media. You need to look at data and analytics on who your target markets are, and you need to engage on the people. So I found out, and I was actually shook. Like, I was so shocked just to find out, like, oh my gosh, Africa is the number one country in the world who spends more time on the internet than any other country. I did not even know that until I looked at it. I was like, what? And then Philippines was on there. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. They're always on their phone. And India is another one, which is an emerging market, right? I'm thinking, geez, these are not even the first world countries that we're talking about. We have emerging markets and we have, third world countries who's number one on the internet. And I know that some people that I know and I have friends don't even have access to the internet, right? And they have to like finagle just to be on LinkedIn. And so I was like, how is that even possible? I'm missing something in here. And so when it comes to that, it's crazy how I feel like there's like a string attached somewhere in the top with our world, and it's like moving the parts. Like this area, they'll have more. This area maybe will trickle down. This area would definitely
Right.
need to be cleaned.
It's still all trickle down, right? And we could have a tidal wave of wealth that's just sitting around idle because our dual currency model says enough cash in the deal for the merchant to still profit, enough new money in the deal to serve society, poor communities, but middle class people are falling out of the middle class all the time. It used to be in the post World War II boom era, a single head of household working about 40 hours could get a house, a car, put food on the table, and a college education for the kids. Today, two working parents working overtime can barely hang on to being middle class. And with all these empty college desks, if supply and demand was true, the price of a college education would fall through the floor. But young people are still leaving college $100,000 in debt, right? So one example of the power of social media, first I want to put in a plug, the new movie Dumb Money is all about the GameStop battle between, young people and everyday retail investors and then the big institutional investors. I'm not taking sides because they're all in the old money paradigm, but the movie's a lot like The Big Short that explained, $5 trillion in wealth disappeared when nothing disappeared. The 2008 crash was just the insanity of money economics because nothing disappeared, no technology, no infrastructure, no human skill, knowledge, and creativity, no raw materials and energy, no products and services. So if nothing disappeared, what happened? Well, valuations fell. So those are money games, the rise and fall of what you could sell your company, your stock, or your house for. But here's something interesting about social media. If I told you that we could flash a debate in social media from the local to the global level, we could ask people, do you want another coffee shop in your neighborhood, or do you want another childcare center? And collect millions of votes in 5 minutes, that the technology's already out there. Does that sound curious? No. America's got talent. Britain's got talent. The Philippines has talent. In other words, we're always flashing entertainment and then voting on it. We can do the same thing with any social, economic, or environmental issue. We can empower the population far more than voting once every 4 years between a left or a right politician. What we need to do for 2024 to be the year of global sustainable economic development is call a truce, marginalize the haters, because there's a bunch of haters, but bring the overwhelming majority of people together around new technology and a concept that we call ledger economics. The wealth is sitting there, monetize and mobilize the wealth. And I'll just say one more thing and then turn it back to you. We did this already in our country. We did it 75 years ago with no technology. We went from the Depression to full war production in 14 months without sending a single person to trade school or job etiquette school. So it's insane that instead of mobilizing people around a common vision and with a new funding source, people think, well, that was government spending on the war. No, we've had massive government spending and massive war since then, and it hasn't done a thing to raise people across our country and around the world. But if we mobilize around a common vision and with our new funding source, this thing can be over during 2024. We can raise everybody up rather than keep the fight of left versus right. Because later I can explain why this new economic model is beyond the current fight, left versus right.
Awesome. Let's talk about this, right? So we're living in an era of rapid technological advancement with AI everywhere. You can't even go anything without AI conversation. But how do you envision the role of automation and artificial intelligence in the future job market and economic landscape?
This is so perfect. Nobody has to be a loser. But today, win-lose competition over money says two companies merge, everybody had the exact same skills, right? Half are laid off and half are working longer and harder, looking over their shoulder for their pink slip. So they're all stressed out. Nobody understands that the alternative is to share the work among all the people with identical skills, share the wealth, which didn't go down at all. So how do you share the wealth? Well, you monetize the excess capacity. So you stretch dollars with ledger dollars. So nobody has to lose their income, but we can have ever shorter working hours by sharing the wealth. So we blow it through mergers and acquisitions. We blow it through outsourcing. So what if we send some jobs overseas? That's just jobs and a paycheck. We haven't lost any schools. We haven't lost any restaurants. We haven't lost any banks. In fact, we're drowning in that. We haven't lost any auto dealerships. Eventually all this stuff crashes, but we don't need that. We can have well-designed monetization of excess capacity. So in fact, the whole threat of technology to losing jobs is the old-fashioned money model of winners and losers. Everybody can have an ever-rising standard of living and quality of life, but it'll never happen competing over money and businesses failing while there's still unmet need for their product and service here and around the world. How can that be? Unmet needs side by side with failing companies? It's a money issue. And again, nobody in economics is saying it's a money issue. They're just coming up with hopefully better values. Sacred economics, feminist economics, Buddhist economics, DEI economics, it's all new values. None of it is new economics. And unfortunately, crypto is not addressing the problem. It's more like a poker chip. You buy a bunch, hoping to cash out with a bunch more. It's a little bit like a movie ticket, but nobody takes and buys a movie ticket and then walks down to the ticket taker and says, do you accept my new currency? That'd be ridiculous, but that's crypto. You buy it with cash and then you try to spend it on something.
I can't do crypto. I actually was super excited about it at the very beginning, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice and da da da. And I'm thinking, wait, so if it disappeared because there's not that the Federal Reserve is any better, but at least it's a little like a little peace of mind in my in my little head right now. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go and make sure that, at least all the banks are FDIC. There's a reserve for that. But crypto is not. It's once it's gone, it's gone. Like poof, like nothing happens.
CJ, you're pointing out the difference between money and wealth. The
Yeah.
money is like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. The wealth gets better every single day. I can't say it enough times. Technology doesn't go up and down the way the economy goes up and down. Infrastructure doesn't go up and down. Those are both only ever improving. 2008, we didn't have a crash because people woke up stupid or we couldn't find raw materials and energy. Every one of these things is an old-fashioned token money problem that can be solved with our model. So I beg everybody on there to just go to Joel Hodroff on LinkedIn and look at what's already posted, but ask for more. We have some new materials that we haven't even posted yet that I'll send directly to you. And we're inviting people to get involved. And again, I want to repeat that this new economic model, we're not going to be Amazon. We're not going to be Tesla. We're not going to be Google. We're not going to be Microsoft. It'll look a little more like Wikipedia, but instead of being a nonprofit that's always begging for donations, but look at how Wikipedia lives in the commons and its technology allows everybody to operate. It just doesn't have a powerful financial model because free doesn't solve the problem that merchants need revenue. And, so we invented dual currency commerce, enough old money to work in the current system, enough new money to be a bridge to solving social, economic, and environmental problems. So the internet is a much better metaphor for it works very well in the cash economy, but nobody can jump on with all the money in the world and control it. It's run by its protocol. It's run by its rules.
Yeah, and I love Christine says everything is so fast. It's changing fast. It is. And I love Ollie. You get my drift. Collaboration over competition. That's definitely what I am, right?
Thank you, Ollie.
Yes, that's what I always say and preach. I heard NFT bubble exploded. All these millions invested in NFTs that's worth nothing now.
So do you get it? NFT is a money phenomenon because the wealth keeps going up. No wealth disappeared, just valuations fell once again. And
and it's crazy.
But again, my tough job as an inventor, paradigm shifter, social entrepreneur, and economic futurist is, if I told you, well, Henry Ford said it best. He said, if I asked people what they wanted, they'd say faster horses. In other words, it's very hard for people to think in the next paradigm, but paradigms shift at the pace of technology. The 3,000-year-old paradigm, humans will never fly, ended in 8 seconds and 120 feet at Kitty Hawk. That's pretty fast paradigm shifting. Now, this takes a little bit more because it engages everybody. It doesn't just invent a thing. But there's early adopters, middle adopters, and late adopters. And right now, I'm speaking to early adopters. They're in your network. They're on the internet. They're looking for what's next. They're frustrated with left versus right because neither side is delivering the goods. Both sides have been in power. Both sides spend trillions. If a fraction of the money spent on, media campaigns and sending people door to door to back competing candidates, if a fraction of that was spent on solving social, economic, and environmental problems, but through a new innovative currency, not through traditional public funding. This isn't a model of higher taxes, deeper debt, or redistribution of wealth schemes. It's got enough cash to be profit driven and business led and market based. So that's fine for the right. Well, if it's good for the right, what is it for the left? It's immediate and not trickle down. It's equitable because our money's going in across the board. It's not, terribly unevenly divided. That's all covered by the cash. And then finally, it's sustainable. It doesn't need a bit of growth. It's about efficiency trumps growth inside a people and planet centered economic model. Am I talking too fast? or is it the world's just moving too fast because everything's moving at the pace of ever faster technologies?
No, great. This is a great discussion. I really love it when people are so passionate about trying to help what's happening and leveraging their knowledge and their research. This is your life's passion. So definitely My second to the last question really is like geopolitical tensions and trade disputes we talked about have become more pronounced in recent years, especially, right? Now we're having a voting in 2024. So, how do you see these factors shaping international economic relations, and what are some of the potential consequences for global trade?
So it's time for me to repost um, a 2009 video I did right after the crash. I did a video entitled Sustainable Peace and Sustainable Prosperity Through Money Innovation, where I said, imagine the Ukraine where both sides were offered massive economic development to simply try a truce. They can go back to killing each other anytime they want. But we do a truce and we show how much better life can be for everybody almost overnight. Back to this question of change is the pace of technology, not the pace of, political discussions. That's absurd. So what's another example? People had been lighting themselves on fire for centuries, and all you got was ashes. In the age of mobile apps and social media, one guy lights himself on fire in the Arab world and 3 dictatorships fall within 3 months. Now, that's not our model of change. It's not running around with guns, and it's not the outcome we want. It's not, new dictators where there were religious dictators, where there were political dictators. That's not the point. The point is that the pace of change is the pace of modern technology. And if we will call a truce in the Ukraine, if we will call a truce in the Middle East, if we will call a political truce in the United States and marginalize the haters, that's the most important thing. The haters have the biggest voice right now, so people are hating on each other. If people willing to consider win-win cooperation for 1 year, one electoral season, we will see this country emerge in global leadership. Why? Because nationalism and war and fighting each other and competing over resources is outdated. We have plenty of resources. Everything on the internet is digital. It's infinite. It costs nothing more to spread more of it. It's already an infrastructure that spreads things for free. Some people have talked historically about the free economy, but they have no model for it. You can't start giving stuff away. But as we go from a win-lose competition over money economy to a win-win cooperation at the level of companies, at the level of communities, at the level of states, at the level of countries, at the global level, we are talking about getting out of this rut, this historic rut for the human race of hunger, of war, of destroying the environment, of lack of education, when education's an abundant renewable resource, just like food. The news is an abundant renewable resource, but we keep hearing the same old news. Imagine if a new visionary idea gets out there on an abundant renewable basis, no hard feelings to the media, but the media is not forwarding fresh conversations. The media is recycling ridiculous conversations about the evil people in the world and the problems we're having rather than the solutions that we could promote. So I think win-win cooperation is also the answer to global sustainable economic development. Solving the United Nations sustainable development goals, that could be done within a year easily if we weren't
I'm so
funneling
excited.
everything through win-lose competition over money.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that conversation because especially when you say, media is basically, repurposing it's like, I feel like they're feeding hate. Everything that you see in media, and I stopped watching TV, is because somebody got murdered here, someone killed here, it's always that negative, right? Like it's like tension. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But here's the
Or it's
power of
political
technology.
media, right? It's the
Yeah, I don't
left's
even care about
point of
political.
view, or it's the right's point of view.
Yeah,
Obviously,
no.
if either of those made any sense, we'd be
No.
way further down the road today. We've had that debate for decades and decades.
Forever. We're not even going to do that. Here's the thing, the power of technology that I'm super excited about. People like me, people like you, and people who are in here right now talking is, in here messaging with their messages. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I want you to know that I'm going to create a TV network where we will be the media. We will create our own space, right? We are no longer going to be paying thousands and hundreds of dollars to be heard, right? We have value. And that's why I'm looking for people right now to create that environment where our media is for the people, not for the people who owns the media and putting this thing like, oh, where's the meter of drama today, right? We're doing it for the people. I want to create a platform where everyone has a voice, everyone can be valued, everyone can be heard, everyone can be seen, um, and really dig deep on what we can do as a community. The only way to make an impact and a legacy is to start from us. What can we do? Because all of these people that were voting were really, they're not really doing a good job. We're still having a hard time, like you said. Now two families are working and we're barely scraping it, right? And before, back even after the war, when everything was just crazy, people are doing it with one person. The head of the household was working to feed the family, to have education, to have a nice car, to have a white picket fence or whatever fence color that you want. Pink for me, for sure. But now it's like we can't even afford a fence, okay? Like, and you work two jobs and you have kids, and it's craziness. So it needs to stop and really get back. And this is why I'm creating the summit too, because I want it to be, I want to go back to that tribe, like a communal where, hey Joel, can you send me some eggs over there? Because I don't have eggs today. I don't want to go to the store right now. And my chicken's not laying eggs, right? Or like, hey Ollie, can you sing a song for me right now? I don't need to go to Broadway to listen, right? Like I want that type of communal feeling. And so I think your way of doing it and shifting it is what I want to create. I want to create a community where we value people more than any of the tokens that we have, whether it's Bitcoin or NFTs or all of these. And everyone's an AI expert all of a sudden, don't even understand what that really means. Just because it's everywhere and you can use ChatGPT doesn't make you an expert. And here's the thing, who cares about being an expert anyway if your heart is not for the people? Nobody
So
cares about that.
you're right on the money, is that the values that have been running the show forever have been scarcity, competition, and winning. But you can see that the world's not winning. The world's not keeping up with all these advances in technology. And so families suffer unnecessarily. But I want to say this is so important. Blaming the rich is a dead end. There isn't a rich family alive on the planet, A, that invented the system. Everybody inherited it. But more importantly, it's all confusion over money and wealth. What does that mean? That means there isn't a rich family alive that can eat enough food to cause anyone to go hungry. There isn't a rich family alive that can uh, live in a big enough mansion to cause anyone to be homeless. That, no matter how many cars the rich own and how fancy they are, that doesn't deprive anyone else of transportation. See, this is a money problem, but we confuse money and wealth. It's just not it. Blaming the rich is part of the win-lose scenario. Blaming the protesters, the woke people, that's ridiculous. They're not running the show, but they're not helping when they're blaming. Buckminster Fuller has an incredible quote. He says, you do not change things by fighting the old model. You build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. But again, it's only going to be a few early adopters. This isn't about lifestyle change. This is about systems change. So when the overwhelming majority of people are debating the rights of the king, the wardrobe of the queen, the customs of the court, it's going to be a rare discussion. How's democracy going to work? What's an election going to look like? What's a judiciary, an executive, and a judiciary, executive, and legislative branch? In other words, these are inventions, these are innovations, and a handful of people are going to do the designing. Like the Department of Defense and the campuses built the internet. The majority of people wouldn't have understood it. It would have sounded like science fiction. But the minute visionary leaders get out front, create the right thing, and we have trillions of dollars today going into social innovation, but it's all competitive, unfortunately, or it's all, it's even people out to change things. There's 1,000 competing women's groups in every community, 1,000 competing green groups, 1,000 competing youth elevation groups, 1,000 competing DEI groups. And all I can say is until these groups get into industry associations, and we send out an example of how Visa did it, because every bank had their own credit card at the beginning of digital currency, and Visa got everybody on a system operated by protocol. longer discussion, about the strengths and weaknesses of that, because the visionary founder of Visa, D. Hawk, said, let's have cardholders or individuals in, let's have merchants in the system, and let's have banks in the system. And the banking industry said, are you kidding? It's our system and they're our customers. So that was a big wrong turn at a time that we could have had a system elevating all of humanity. Well, that's all we're preaching, is if we get on the same page, push in the same direction, it's going to be just like the mobilization for World War II. 14 months, nobody had to go to college or trade school or job etiquette school. We just got on the same page and moved in the same direction. It doesn't require war to have a common vision, a new funding source, and a mobilization.
I know. I'm just saying, like, the right people with the right ideas. Unfortunately, we don't have the financial backing. Otherwise, we're gonna make it happen.
We don't have
right?
a critical mass yet. We
Yeah,
have a
we
new
will.
model of fund one all. Imagine crowdsourcing people who think like this into your company and on your team when you're entrepreneurial, and then imagine crowdsourcing the new economy where people again are contributing to those. Well, we even have something designed for this system called sliding scale dual currency prices. If some people will pay higher up the cash side, some people can pay higher up the ledger dollar side. I forgot to mention all the ways people can earn ledger dollars. All the things that go unrewarded today, community volunteerism, youth academic performance or youth service learning, green activity, wellness activity, stay-at-home moms and dads. Imagine out in the economy, there's paid cooking, cleaning, shopping, laundry, chauffeuring, childcare, senior care. Why on earth would a stay-at-home mom either have to be a volunteer for her family or a welfare mother? So all of this value creation can suddenly be paid in ledger dollars, and suddenly there's more purchasing power for everything that's abundantly available. And you want to talk US leadership and global economic development? After World War II, the United States rallied and led 28 countries under the Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe and Japan overnight. That was the slow, no technology, old-fashioned money economy. We're talking about US leadership helping every country in the world. And for people who don't want others flooding into this country, go ahead and develop their country. Many of them would rather stay there. Go ahead and, create economic equality that doesn't put up with dictatorships, that seeks democracy in the new countries. All right. So that's just a little bit of how we've done it before. We can do it again, but we can't do it in the old-fashioned ways.
No, we can't. And this is such a great conversation. You gotta have to come back again for sure. I love this conversation. I love it, and it looks like our audience also love it. I'm gonna have a lot of team replay because everyone's doing some stuff this week. But before I end, I wanted to ask you this last question. If this is your last day today on this earth, what would be your parting message to your current and future families in terms of living life, legacy, and impact?
That's so beautiful. Number one, don't forget to give me all the written comments that I can't see right now, and I'll follow up with people.
Yes.
It's so interesting because what's at the heart of my life is valuing people over money, valuing families over money, and making sure that money isn't getting in the way of human beings loving one another. Now, I've been talking like an entrepreneurial business guy for this whole hour, but the truth is, the values underneath this, my life journey, I had family members going through 12 steps, and I jumped in their family aftercare program. 12 steps is a whole non-cash economy. You can pay $100,000 at Betty Ford, or you can sit in a church basement and go, hi, my name is Sally, and the recovery's just as good, and no money's changing hands, no technology, no medication, no doctors, no credentials. So my point is, it's a long answer to what you just asked. Don't follow the money. The money is misleading. Follow technology, follow human relationships, follow your higher values. It's all about love one another in the end.
I love it.
It's just
That's
like
why you're in. That is why you're in my show, because I see people. I talk to people first before they get into my show. A lot of people DM me like, "I want to be on your show." I'm like, "I'm sorry, who are you?" Like, I need to talk to you first, because I want to have that conversation that people are so passionate about. And I want to bring that conversation to level up my community on new knowledge, or maybe even knowledge that they didn't even know at all. It's been in existence, like you've been in
This
existence
is
for a
very
while.
new material
Yeah,
in many
I
ways,
love
right?
it.
But
I love
love
it.
one another is a very old message.
That is.
It's in quite a few spiritual traditions. It's not just in one or two.
Imagine John Lennon, right? Seriously, that is so true. If you were, you're like, hey, tell your great grandkids, because I'm sure YouTube will be there for the rest of our lives, maybe for even when we're done, right, with this lifetime and journey. What would you tell your great grandkids to live their life
Well,
with?
so, I have every intention of making sure, and I have more and more people on the team making sure all the time that this is the last generation that lives for money. We're not taking away anything from anyone. All the stuff is still available, but we're saying don't live money centered lives, live family centered lives, live community centered lives, live personal growth and healing centered lives. I mean, when I had that workaholic breakdown at the age of 27, I had been, like I said, workaholic Jewish youth activist, workaholic political activist, type A business workaholic. I was trying to survive because I thought that's how you get by, that's how you get ahead. That was really how I was coping with my own personal traumas. So my grandkids will be inheriting a world, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't filter everything through the lens of, well, does it make money or is it prestigious? They actually get to ask, what are my values and how do I live them out? I think it's a world where everybody's going to be artists, not just a handful of people. Everybody's going to see this longer and longer working hours, even though technology could be doing more and more of the work and we wouldn't be chasing money at the pace of technology. We'd be having shorter and shorter working hours. Well, what does that mean? That means more family time. That means more community time. That means more time in nature. That means more personal growth and development time. All these things that we would be doing with our time if we weren't spending more and more time in the workplace, even if we're at home, we're just too tied to the computer, too tied to making a living. Making a living is like a foregone conclusion when you distribute the abundance instead of fight over the money. So that would mean follow your heart is exactly what generations to come are going to do. And, Native American tradition says, think about life 7 generations down the road. So that means we're always thinking about the environment, not how to exploit the environment more and more. So that's what I would say is young people are going to be thinking totally differently. They already are. They're rebelling against a lot of what they're being told and what they're inheriting. But lifestyles are going to change dramatically when technology does more and more of the work and people do more and more of the living, more and more of the loving, more and more of the spiritual pursuits. It just isn't going to look like the money chasing rat race that we all inherited.
That's so true. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I appreciate you so much. Everyone appreciates you for sure. I love this conversation, and we're going to definitely make it more a new thing. Again, when I have my TV network, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen.
I'm going to back you all the way because I know your values and I want to see them manifest, across the country and around the world, which is
We
what
need that.
modern
We need
television
you.
has the capacity to do. Let's
Yeah,
team up. Let's knock a couple more of these out of the ballpark.
that's right. Next time, we're going to dig deep on some of the articles and some of the ideas that you have. And like I said, we're going to have a think tank live to see what they have to say and what are some of the thoughts that they have, and get them out of that thinking of follow the money and instead follow the heart and passion. So I'm loving this conversation. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much, CJ. It's been a blast.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. Wait for me in the green room and I'll be right there, Joel.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was a really great conversation. And I am excited for you guys to get to know Joel. And I know you guys would love him. But again, tomorrow I will have more information on our global summit, and I will have more information on the giveaways. And remember, there's 30 speakers, guys. Okay, 30, 31, maybe 32. Oh, maybe we're adding more people in there. Myself and Kofi is going to be there. So hopefully we will see you on October 12, 13, and 14. It is on um, my featured, but I'm also going to, it looks like when I muted, I had to mute, okay, because I had to scream to my puppies over here. And I know some of the message like, I can't hear anything. I'm sorry. I'm going to put that video on my profile so you guys can actually watch that video. Remember that all your purchases that you will get for all of these things that we're providing, that I'm providing for you and our community of business leaders who are heart-centered providing for you, everything across the board is $50, right? But the point is we want to make an impact and legacy to level up everyone in our community. And here's the thing, every purchase that you have, percentage of it goes to the Lahaina fire victims in Hawaii. One of my heart-centered sister, actually, her brother lost everything in their entire neighborhood, and he's trying to raise, even just right now they're doing water and things like that because they're really displaced. He's trying to raise like almost $96,000 and he's at 7,000. So I want to help him even just for a little bit. So whatever that you guys are purchasing for here, we're not asking for donation. We're literally giving you value more than what it is worth, but also giving it to the community where you guys can afford it. Because I know life is hard right now, but also making sure that we give back to our community full circle, because we are all about loving you up and loving you guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow for more information.
Thanks for watching another episode of Level Up Academy today, brought to you by your none other host, Dr. Leland. Please do not forget to hit subscribe or push that notification bell so anything that we have an activity on at Level Up Academy, you will be the first one to know. If you would like to be a guest in our podcast, both on the MP3, audio only, and also here on live in our YouTube channel, please let me know. DM me. Let's connect. Have a fantabulous day.
Bye, everybody.